Sexington University is just your everyday, typical university. Nothing out of the ordinary ever happens here. There's no alien attacks, no homicidal houseplants, no meteor showers, no Cthulhu cults, no fatal field trips, and absolutely no alien professors. Enroll today and get this fabulous free pen.
Hello and welcome to my review of The Waiting Game by Alexander Fullerton. This is a novel first published in 1961 but set in 1943 and telling the story of a submarine's mission into the North Sea. Fullerton was a submariner during World War II and drew on his experience for many of his 50-plus novels, beginning with 1953's Surface, which was an immediate success. Much of this tale focuses on Leif Olsen, who was a sailor with the Norwegian Navy and joined the British Royal Navy after the Germans invaded Norway. Norway, unlike some Scandinavian countries, actually fought the Nazis, and Olsen is unhappy to see his nation occupied and eager to continue fighting. He is initially sent to Berwick in Scotland to rendezvous with the submarine HMS Setter. A late transfer, it is obvious his role is something specific to his skill set, but their orders are vague and he doesn't know what. On board he is one of the more senior officers, but they are all in the dark about their mission. The Setter patrols a long way out in the North Sea, off the coast of Norway, and not far from a port that the Germans are using for their U-boats. Their mission, though, is simply to stay in the area and wait for further instructions. As they wait, dodging the occasional patrol, Olsen considers his life on board and the often inscrutable British ways of life and language. Fullerton himself focuses on a realistic portrayal of the routines of life on board. It has the potential to actually be rather dull, their one altercation being the successful and brief sinking of a U-boat, but I actually found it to be quite interesting. Olsen is the archetypal fish out of water, even beneath the waves, and is an engaging, wide-eyed lead, and this enables Fullerton to poke fun at some of his idiosyncratic characters. The problem for the Setter is that far north, the lack of true darkness in the night means that the submarines have to surface regularly without any cover. That close to the German ports and patrol lines, they expect to be discovered, yet their orders are to be in the area and wait, and nothing more. Eventually, coordinates do come through and they move to a rendezvous with Bishop Dahlen and his family. Dahlen is a leading agitator for the Norwegian Resistance, and the SS are preparing to pounce. He and his family are to be evacuated by boat to the sub and then to Britain. Olsen is in awe of a potential meet with Dahlen, while most of the other sailors spend rather more time wondering how old and attractive his daughter might be. Olsen's backstory contains a near-miss with the potential love of his life, an encounter he replays and expands to an almost mythical moment in his life. His naivety is obvious even to his crewmates, and it helps to make him likeable to the reader, even as the crew are clearly warming to him. The future presence of women on board also makes for some fairly entertaining changes in the behaviour of the submariners. Notably, a swear jar is introduced, almost silencing the previously foul-mouthed cook. Olsen's scribbled note in Norwegian, intended to explain to the bishop how to work the submarine's toilets, ends up used as toilet paper, but this has to be the most in-depth, if not just the only, description of the workings of an underwater toilet in fiction. Unfortunately, the SS are rather too close to Dahlen, and he has to hastily arrange his plans, fleeing into the country. The Germans know of the Setter, and two anti-submarine trawlers hunt the sub, dropping depth charges in the novel's greatest set-piece. The only misstep here, if there is one at all, is that the Setter, for all her twists and turns, is saved not by the brilliance of her crew, but by the German High Command saving the kill for one of their U-boats and calling the trawlers back, just as they're on the verge of victory. It's a bit unlikely. However, that intervention does set up the idea that perhaps the final showdown of the book will be with the named U-boat, but in truth it is likely, given what follows, that the nominated sub is the one the Setter has already sunk. Perhaps Fullerton's focus on the realistic comes at the expense of some of the dramatic, but no doubt that will win him some fans as well. The engagement with the ships is exciting stuff, and it makes the waiting game worth the money. My copy came second hand, so that amount of money wasn't exactly great, but still, that was intended as a compliment. On land, the Norwegians flee across country, unaware if their desperate message for the British has got through. They're only one step ahead of the Germans at best. For a man with far more experience of the wet part of the war, Fullerton does a pretty good job with this part. Again, there's a good range of characters involved, but there is definitely potential for more here, because the final leg of the journey is not covered at all. The Setter makes the rearranged rendezvous in the nick of time, sinking a German patrol boat about to intercept the party. Unfortunately, the sub is then caught on the surface by a German aeroplane and submerges despite some damage. The two trawlers from before rush out to intercept again, but for the most part, Fullerton relays this second engagement from the uninitiated refugee's perspective, and it has little of the excitement of the earlier one. Still, the finale does take an unexpected turn before the Setter returns home, and that again raises it above the standards that you might expect of a novel so short. Overall, The Waiting Game is a solid wartime novel. The characters are likeable and engaging, the action is sparse, the Setter's first explosive battle with the two trawlers is the highlight of the book. The finale, unfortunately, doesn't reach the same standards due to some underwhelming authorial choices. It is hard to claim Fullerton ran out of steam, given that the book from cover to cover doesn't reach 200 pages, but perhaps he was wary of retreading the same ground. But then why not offer the hinted at submarine duel with a U-boat? On dry land, Fullerton offers a steady hand. The Bishop's flight through occupied Norway is decent enough that more of it wouldn't go amiss. Again, Fullerton's switch from following Darlan's escape to the submarine's movements to intercept is handled in a way that doesn't maximise the dramatic potential of either escape or rescue. But there's no doubt The Waiting draws upon its author's experience to present a better than average war book that's easy to recommend. It is a rare example where more would have been better. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.